All right, we'll be back from the break. You're still watching Smart Means Business. I did mention we're going to be heading to our SMB Insight this morning. Now, before we head to the SMB Insight, please remember to invest and grow your investments with the Zabo platform. Zabo, which says my money, my future, is giving you an alternative and an option that you can choose to grow your investments today with the platform. *292# is the USSD code that you definitely need to use to kickstart off your investment. And of course, remember, with just a minimum of 15,000 Ugandan shillings, you can easily grow your investments and be part of the ever-evolving world of investment. Zabo, my money, my future. Altec East Africa, do something new. Zabo, my money, my future. And well, as we now turn our eyes to the SMB Insight, there's been a very huge concern, a rise in insecurity in the country. And this has actually as well stretched to the economic part of it, because ideally no business person would choose to do a business, or no investor would choose to do or start up something in an environment or in an area that seems to be insecure or quite less of peace. And just recently on Friday, there was a case where a moneylender was shot dead by one Wawire police officer at the Raja Chambers. Cases due to interest and loans is one of the reasons behind it. Wawire was arrested by the police, by the way, yesterday. Now, besides that, Saturday evening, up country, there was another case whereby a security officer was shot dead, was shot at, not shot dead, but was shot at. So this clearly gives you more cases of shootings in the country, and of course, another big worry for us as Ugandans. Now, the business community, on the other hand, is actually facing it rough though. Now, joining me to discuss this and more, I have Mayanja Lawrence, who is here to analyze for us this current insecurity and what impact it has on the economic growth of the country, or is it a case to worry about seriously? Many thanks for joining us, sir. Good morning.
Oh, thank you so much, Brother Jerome.
Yes.
I really appreciate, and I'm much grateful and happy, delighted to be here with you.
Okay.
Thanks for hosting me and bringing me on board. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And well, when you look at the current security state in our country,
yeah,
it is really a case to worry about. And how are we going to deal with this?
Good question. First of all, we need to understand what is security.
Yes.
Yeah, security in its perspective is literally being free from danger. Once you're free from danger, then you're secure. Yeah. So now we are looking at insecurity.
Yes.
So this literally means that the freedom from danger is no longer there. So people are insecure. Then we are looking at also economic development or economic growth. Yeah. So you understand that economic growth is literally the capacity for people to produce. Yeah.
Yeah.
And in this aspect, two things cannot run in the absence of another. There cannot be insecurity and you have economic growth. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So to answer your question,
yes,
one thing is to note is that gradually there's been a lot of anarchy with all these cases you're mentioning. Yeah, we've had the killing of Muslim clerics. We've had the shooting of the retired Lieutenant Colonel Charles Sengola. You remember, was buried on Saturday. Yeah?
Yes,
and we've had quite a number. Yeah, and it's cutting across. You know. And this brings a lot of anarchy and insecurity, because you find that even the top-notch people that you feel are secure,
yes,
are also under threat. Yeah, you remember Gino Katumba Mala was also shot at. Thank God he survived. Yeah, so you find that if such cases keep on happening, to even the top-notch stakeholders of this country, then how about the common man? Yeah, you've had a lot of shooting, a lot of tear gassing, over and over again. It's been consistent. Yeah, so in any economic situation, you need to have security, and here comes a time when the country is at tenterhooks. You know, everyone has lost hope. They don't know what's next. Yeah. The president has always come out and addressed his core principles, specifically on peace and security, you know, and that has given him a lot of mileage even during his elections, you know, because even when you go to the rural areas, it's been openly addressed that as long as we have peace, we can thrive as an economy. You know, a poor man somewhere will go to his garden, go for his coffee, dig his coffee, harvest his matoke, and at the end of the day, whether he earns what he expects or he doesn't, he's secure that his life is there. He has hope that his family will thrive, you know, will survive, even within the hardest, you know, situations, economic situations. Yeah. So you find that without peace, we cannot really grow as a country. And for example, I've spoken with colleagues in security, and everyone is in a dire situation. No one knows where the country heads. You know, for example, right now there is no political future. We don't know what next. Besides the opposition, there's a lot of infighting entirely in the NRM. So we are yet to establish and come to conclusions and find out, is the insecurity coming from the ruling government itself? Because you find that most of the armed people, you know, belong to the government. You know, you find that it's security forces that have the highest access to firearms. So it's very hard for a common person to go and attack a security person. It requires a lot of confidence. It requires a lot of training. Maybe still to bring it to your notice. Just a few days ago, I think it's yesterday, but Saturday night, the police spokesperson, traffic, was also attacked at her home. So if you have such a high-profile person, being attacked at their home, then how about you? So you tend to find that it's going to ruin the economy. Recently, you just opened it up here. You saw what happened on Parliamentary Avenue. Friday. Morning. An investor is gunned down. But still not by a normal person.
By a security
person. So if you have a situation where people that are supposed to protect and serve, you know, are the same people pointing guns to people. So it brings a lot of hopelessness in this country. So you find that one, it's affecting investment because with this social media, you know, that we have, whatever is happening in Uganda goes viral, you know, worldwide. So you find that if there were investors planning to invest in the country, they will still have to think twice. So here comes an investor, you know, he's invested, he feels that money lending is one thing that they have to invest in, and at the end of the day, through their line of work, someone loses life. So it brings back an aspect of the economy going into regression. So entirely, in fact, I would really want to appreciate the management of Smart TV. If you've brought me here and you've thought about analyzing the current insecurity vis-a-vis economic growth of the country, Uganda in particular, I believe it's a good thing. It's well thought over.
Also, there is also a debate whereby we feel the government does need to invest in a lot of social protection besides the aspect of security itself, direct investment in security, but also serving the issue to do with social protection. Now, in the reason behind this kind of thing is when you look at the case scenario on Friday of the money lender and everything, because some people are actually saying money lenders tend to increase interest. And with time, because of the fact that at times someone will go for a loan and fail to pay back. Now, once you fail, obviously the interest is actually going to accumulate more than it was.
I agree.
So when you look at that, how are we going to deal with such case scenarios?
Good question. Right now, the country is suffering.
Yes.
Those who have failed to accept that they have enough. You see? And the poor are also struggling. That's where the economy has put us. You find that in the long run, everyone looks at themselves in an impoverished way. We are poor. There's a lot of unemployment. Even those who are employed literally earn nothing. Right now, you see doctors, and nurses. They are on strike. You see, at the end of the day, you're going to see people dying in hospitals. We have a lot of malnutrition. You get? You can literally convince someone that Uganda is an agricultural economy when even people living in there are dying of hunger. You've seen it in Karamoja. You get my point? There's unequal opportunity. You find a certain family owning every asset in this country. You find one person owning arcades and malls everywhere at the expense of the other citizens. You see, what's more to them that others have been deprived of? You see, so all those issues are key not to consider in such a situation. So here comes a man like Wabwire. Sorry, he has a mental problem. If at all, it's not an excuse, because by the time someone thinks of getting a gun, walks into someone's office, they even have to discuss and even knows how to trigger the gun. It means that it's an afterthought. It didn't come as a mistake. You get? So we don't want to use excuses when certain things are happening and people are dying. You get? You don't know how many people are behind the person that's dead. You find that it's a long line of people that's affected. So unless if government comes out to address some of these issues, we are going to have more of the same. You see, right now you find that someone out of struggles and high expectations is going to borrow money. Is going to borrow money with a lot of expectations that this money will have a benefit, an investment, So at the end of the day, because of the tough economic situations, the business fails, for example, due to high taxation, poor market. You find that the people you're selling to do not have the capacity to buy what you're producing. And remember, at the end of the day, the money lender is waiting on whatever interest that you put up to you. So that causes frustration. So you're in a situation where you have pressure from the money lender, and remember their interests are also high. And another thing, I think government also has a problem, and this needs to be worked on. Some of these money lenders are not registered. They dubiously overcharge people. You'd find that their interests are so high. So at the end of the day, you get a total frustrated person. People have families to look after. People have utility bills. You find that surviving in Kampala is also one of the most costly things. So with this kind of economic, because there comes a time when certain things have to be real, they have to be put on table. If we don't come up as a country and streamline the economic situation within the country, we are in a very unfortunate situation.
Lawrence, when you as well come to think of these issues, by the way, do you believe that mental health awareness is something that we should now invest in as well?
Right. People need to be guided. People need to be sensitized. People need to be educated. You get? For example, right now you're seeing the PDM. I'm a resident of Mukono. Quite a lot has been said about PDM. But you find that it has not sunk well in people's heads, you know. People have not embraced it because they don't understand it.
Okay.
I don't know if it's the president and his systems, or I don't know if it's him being disappointed by the people, but you find that people need to be educated on financial aspects, on how resources should be managed. But the challenge is, how will you be educated and sensitized on what you don't have? It's like going through school, you're educated and all that, but at the end of the day, there's nothing to do. So I think we need to empower people. We need to empower people. Recently, you saw ministers being charged of iron sheets, you know, taken to court. Why should someone that has already get from someone who does not have? So you find that the country is in a mess. We need to have to come down to a point. I think we need God. We need God.
When you mention the fact that we're in a mess, truly we are, and we're in one that is more worrying according to the look of things. Now, it takes us back to the time when we had shootings of mobile money agents, something that we don't want to get back into, because back then you get to realize there were lots of people who had access to guns, and they could shoot to kill. Leave alone someone who comes to rob you clean by just using a gun to point at you to scare you off. Now they are scaring you and still killing you. So it is something that is actually leaving everyone really worried. And when you look at the business community, you wouldn't wish someone, you will come to realize that people who have been closing maybe at around 10 will now want to close as early as 8. That is a loss of production in there. How are we cleaning the mess? Because it does seem like it is now worrying, really.
For a fact, I think it now goes back to our government, and to the fountain of honor. He has always preached peace, and security. Since time immemorial, it's been his focal point, and like I did say, he's won points because of that. If you look at history told by our parents and even what we've read in books, the country had a mess, a political mess. And at the time when the president came into power, you really realize that he was much embraced. He was a people's person. And his manifesto was really understood. Peace and security. People were insecure, many lost their lives, you know, and with that message, he was received, Over and over again, things have now gone back to the past, So these are not things that we grew up seeing while we were young. Things were a little bit better, but it's now coming to a trend where things are not happening well. What is the question? We need to ask, what's the problem? Because we have the army, which is supposed to be protecting cross-border, security. We have the police, which is supposed to protect and serve people's property. And we have these internal security organizations and external security organizations, plus these other private investigators and everyone. And everyone is asking, where is the problem? And for your information, I need to be open to you. I've interacted with some of these security officers. Many of them are disgruntled. One, they have no pay. If it comes late. And even when it comes late, it's not enough to sustain their requirements or their needs. You get my point? Some of them go sacrifice, they leave their families, very hopeless, They go to work, but even where they find, where they have hope that they would thrive, things are not happening well. So the problem is digging deep, and it needs the fountain of honor, because when you look at the political dynamics of the country, he has centralized each and everything to himself. So when you now look at security, it comes back to the president. Since it was his focal point, he needs to calm down and streamline and see how best he can sort the mess Yeah?
Yeah.
If you have his men in uniform doing what we all don't expect, so you and me cannot have control over a policeman, for example. You cannot have control over an army man, for example. It's him. He's the appointing person. You get? He appoints the political heads. He appoints the security heads. Yeah. So it's a big problem, but now it comes back to the way the country is being administered. Yeah.
Well, and of course, before we go into the break, you get to realize that first, Uganda has been known to be a very good investment destination, and it creating a peaceful environment and a secure environment is one of the reasons as to why we've been able to have such a good report on us. What next for us? Where does this leave Uganda with the kind of these cases in the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, good question. Thank you. One, we need to look at the key factors of economic growth and development.
Yes.
If a country is to grow and develop or prosper, there are certain aspects that have to be positive or moving well. One, Joram, you agree, there's nothing you can push through if you have no land. Yeah, you need to have land where you're going to put your investment.
Yes.
Investors here in Namambe have to have land to put up their industries. Yeah, you need to have labor. Yeah, you need to have people that are going to work for you, and this labor, whether skilled or unskilled, we need it all. Yeah? You need to have capital. Whatever knowledge you can have. For example, graduates have been graduating, and the country has been telling people or the graduates. Go and start businesses, but you cannot start business from scratch.
Yeah,
you get my point. You need this entrepreneurship. Yeah, you can only be an entrepreneur if you have the resources. In Uganda, if you look at entrepreneurs like Sudil, if you look at Ham, for example, let me use those two examples. They didn't come from scratch. They didn't start from scratch. Yeah, they also had people that held them onto their hands. You know, right now getting a loan from a bank, they call for quite a lot. You get my point.
Your securities and everything.
Quite a lot. Our friends of mine in parliament, you find that even a parliamentarian is borrowing from you money, and yet he's the person that you think is doing well. Yeah.
True.
So if you have even people that you expect to be doing well, also struggling to survive in a country, so you find that there's a lot of hopelessness. So Uganda was well known for being an investment
destination. Still well known for that.
Yeah, it's been known, but you find that with the current dynamics, things are turning because, for example, look at tourism. Yeah, we've had most of the tourist destinations extinct. Affected. You know, Namambe, Mabida, and the other swamps well known. Right now, you're seeing what's happening in Masaka. You know, because of environmental degradation and blocking waters of channel, we are facing a problem. Yeah, and who is to blame? It's government. Government through Uganda Investment Authority and whichever regulatory authorities awards contracts and gives a go-ahead to some of these so-called investors. Yeah, go to Namambe. When you try to list the companies with investors, you literally don't find any local investor. Yeah, and the so-called investors still have their godfathers within. Yeah, so at the end of the day, entrepreneur, yeah, with hands-on experience and interest, and is willing to invest into a country, and you as as the country heads cannot come up to support him.
Yeah.
So you find that we are in a hopeless situation. Yeah.
All right. And well, after the break, we have more of these discussions continuing, including what the members of parliament had to say in regards to the shooting on Friday of the Indian money lender. Big on those conversations here on SMB, and we return shortly. Stick around.